Welcome to the JP8 Report. Good morning. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report coming to you today with episode 34, Texas 87th Legislative Update. This is just to give you, and then the day is May 23rd, so there's 8 days left in the legislative session in Texas. I just want to give you an update of what's going on today. And don't forget that when you're watching this, please subscribe to our podcast channel on Rumble or Podbean or YouTube. And if you see my page on Facebook, like the Facebook page also. Okay, it's the only way we get the word out. We've been seeing more people viewing the podcast lately, which is good. So don't forget to share it out to your friends. And thank you very much. And if you want to send me a message, my email address is jp8report@gmail.com. And by the way, I'm back to publishing on Parler also, so you can find me on Parler. The address for Parler, I can't get to it. There you go. I'm gonna screen over to it real quick. So you can see at James Pierce JP80. That's my Parler address. Okay. Give you an idea what you can look for me, how to find me. Okay, so Texas is in the waning days of the 87th Texas legislative session. That's because we only meet every 2 years in Texas by our state constitution. Okay, whenever they meet, we have I believe it's 100 and let's see, February, March, April, May, about 120 days total to be able to pass through our legislative session. So that means it ends on May 31st every 2 years. The way the bills work in Texas, after the election the previous November, there's a rush to file bills before everybody is sworn in, even with newly elected representatives and senators. Everybody pushes through what bills they want to go to all the different committees in the state house and state senate. Everything, and if you don't know, from the middle of January all the way through like the beginning of May, no later than May 13th in the House, committees roll through and read bill filings and committee reports, and that's how the meat of the legislative session progresses. It's only a bill on Capitol Hill. The same thing applies in Austin also. Okay. Now, if not everything goes through as the governor wants in the state in the legislature, the speaker and the lieutenant governor, they can go to governor, ask for a special session. Only the governor can call a special session of Congress. They last 30 days at a time. And when he does call a special session, you have to go strictly by what he calls special session for. Like, we know there's going to be a special session this time because of the late results from the census for redistricting. But he can also add other items to that special session to make it work. Okay, but only the governor can do that. You can't dream up items you want to push through and not be on the agenda that's published. Okay, so these are some of the things that have gone through this last spring. Okay, winter and spring, even through the snowvid we had in February. Okay, so Election Integrity Bill SB 7. That's where making it able for more people to be able to vote, but limiting the ability of people to be able to cheat. Okay, you take it as you may. The object of all voting is to eliminate the propensity of people to fraudulently vote, because I, like you, want your vote to count, no matter what. Okay, but there are people out there, even around our local area. We had a guy, and he was an election worker in Killeen. He got caught voting multiple times, but they took care of him. So that is SB 7 is pending signature by the governor. I bet he's waiting to sign it toward the end of the session, make a big public announcement about it. Next one, critical race theory. Critical race theory, 8 House Bill 3979 is pending the governor's signature. And what this does is to eliminate the ability to anyone in a public school environment to be able to teach critical race theory. I think everybody out there knows what critical race theory is. It's a hate-mongering, race-baiting scheme to get people to hate each other and pit one racial group is better than another racial group, which is completely wrong. It's against the foundations of the Bible. We're all equal. Okay? This is just hate-mongering, and I'm glad it is it's going to be signed by the governor. Okay? And it doesn't deserve to be in our school system. So the next one I wanted to bring is ban gender modification, Senate Bill 1311, and it's pending House committee readout. Okay, there's 8 days left in the session. That bill is probably on life support. Okay, that deals with transgender stuff where you can give people medicines and hormone treatments and stuff like that for minors, and it'd be labeled as child abuse. Okay, I don't know where that one is. I don't know. You might have to wait 2 more years for the next session to come up to be able to introduce that one again. We shall see. Miracles happen sometimes in the very last days of the session. Something might come out of committee. They're in recess until tomorrow morning, so nothing's going to happen today. The next one, the heartbeat bill. It was signed into law on the 19th of May by Governor Abbott. And the heartbeat bill is limiting the ability to receive an abortion after the 6 weeks time. Okay, and you can look at. I'm really pro-life. 6 weeks, 7 days. That's 42 days. You can hear a baby's heartbeat at 18 days. Okay, but it was signed into law. And hopefully it passes constitutional muster. Next one. This is the one that everyone in the state of Texas has been inquiring about for months. The permitless constitutional carry of a firearm in the state of Texas. House Bill 1927. We thought it was dead. It made it through the House. It went to the Senate. It stalled in the Senate. Because there's a few senators, we won't name them here. They should be, but we won't. But their constituents know who they are. What they did is they tried to put certain amendments on it to kill it. Well, it passed in the Senate. So how it passed in the House, passed in the Senate, different language in the two. They went to conference. To tell you a quick story, I was at a Republican function Thursday evening, and one of the guys there, he's in the know. I just happened to ask, like, hey, do you have any type of update on the conference for HB 1927 for constitutional carry, and he says, "I know nothing." And then there was another lady there, won't name no names. She stood up and says, "Well, there's a chance," and she explained what was going on, but there's a chance that it'll still come through and we'll still have constitutional carry. The very next day, it cleared conference. That means it goes to the House and goes to the Senate for an up-down vote, and then it goes to the governor. Governor said he will sign it. So hopefully in the next few days we'll have a constitutional carry approved, I believe, for like the 1st of September in the state of Texas. But we shall see. School choice. That would be Senate Bill 28, died in committee. Okay, that's right. Try again later, right? The next one is the ban on tax-funded lobbying. That's pending. No other status I could find on that. That was in a lot of cities, municipalities, they hire taxpayer-funded, which means your tax dollars, your valuable property tax dollars, hires a lobbyist, and what they do, they go down to Austin and they hobnob with legislatures on different bills that are important to the different cities. I don't agree with that. When I was on city council, I voted against it. Why would we use tax dollars to send a lobbyist to talk to our state representatives and senators? I believe that's what we have a city manager for. That's why we have a mayor for. Not to kick back and eat bonbons and watch TV. Their job is to represent their constituents. So why are we hiring someone that's not even elected to go tell someone in Austin about what our priorities for? It should be the people that are actually getting votes in our city to go down and represent us. Okay, so I hope that passes. We shall see. The broadband access bill, rural broadband access bill, SB 632, that was signed into law on the 18th of May. There we go. Expanding broadband. There's people that got satellite. Really, broadband's come a long way in the satellite business, but it's not fast enough. I fortunately, here at my house, I have gig internet. So my stuff is really fast, and so I can stream anytime I want. But if you live on a ranch or a farm in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Big Lake, Texas, what is your chances of being able to get high-speed internet or broadband access? So this helps that issue, and I'm glad the governor signed that one. One I'm not too fond of is alcohol to go. I don't drink, never have drank, but people like to get their drink on. I understand. I don't agree with it, but the governor signed it into law a couple weeks ago. That's a done deal. That's a byproduct of the COVID. It took off so well, and during the COVID shutdowns, that they decided to make it codified in the law. It works, right? Next one, no franchise tax on the PPP forgiveness loans. A lot of businesses out there, to be able to keep their businesses afloat during when they couldn't work, they got PPP loans to pay their payroll, and some got as few as $5,000, some got several $100,000. It was a grant, so in normal circumstances, in the Texas franchise tax, you have to file once a year. If you make $1 million or more, you have to pay tax on it. Well, what if with this PPP, it's forgiven? Well, now it becomes income. in the state's eyes. So what Governor Abbott did, he they passed a law and made it not reportable under the Texas franchise system, which is good. Another bill that is pending is, and it just passed out of the Senate, I believe, yesterday, is House Bill 9, anti-rioting in hospitals. It makes it higher penalty. So if you block the entrance of a hospital with a protest that prevent medical care being performed for law enforcement or any individual at all, and you're trying to block access to the hospital to prevent that from happening, you will go to jail. And the penalties will be stiff. There is no call for that at all. You should never block the entrance to a hospital. Those people are to save lives. Whether you like that person or not, that's their job. So I look forward to seeing the governor sign that one. Next one is House Bill 1925, anti-camping bill. It's passed out of Senate, and it's I believe it's in conference, or it's about to be signed, one of the two. And it requires cities to properly shelter and feed people that are homeless, and give them the chance to get out of that situation. Like, we all know some people don't want to not live on the streets anymore, but when you have people living under bridges purposely in tents and live in squalor, that's ripe for the spread of disease and crime, and it needs to stop. And that's why they're doing that. If you travel around Austin, you see it all over the place. Their mayor does not really care about the whole situation. That's why it's going to be dealt with. I just don't understand why people don't want to help them. It's ridiculous. I mean, you see pictures of tents set up in places of kids got to walk by and stuff, and it shouldn't be in the state of Texas. That stuff should never happen. We're Texans here. There's last count almost 30 million of us. I think there's really more than that. I think we got short-sighted on the census. We should have 3 new congressional seats instead of 2 new congressional seats. But we got 2. That's a start. We'll wait 10 more years. Hopefully we'll add 2 to 3 more. That's what the next special session is going to be all about, is redrawing the lines of all the House seats and the state House seats and the Senate seats for the state, and judicial precincts and city council precincts and county commissioners and constables. They're going to be busy for 30 days to get this stuff all done. That happens only once every 10 years. But remember, in Texas, we do this every 2 years with the legislature. And that's why it's important to know what your elected leaders are doing, to hold them accountable. But remember, you will not always get everything you want. Sometimes it's a wait in progress, and it will happen eventually. So all these keyboard warriors out there, you hear them talking about, well, I'm not voting for this person because he did not get this passed. Remember, there's 149 House seats, I think. I may be wrong. And there's 31 Senate districts. So it's more than just one person. There's a whole bunch of them. And you just got to be patient. I mean, only one person can wield only so much influence. And the governor, he can only do so much. And the lieutenant governor, he can do a lot. He wields a lot of power in the state. I believe, pretty much so, I believe the lieutenant governor holds more power than the actual governor himself. But it's still something to say, I'm the governor of Texas. You know, that's a good thing sometimes. And they get voted on every 4 years. And all the statewide offices are voted on midterms in the national elections. Well, not national, but every like last November 2020, we had presidential. In November 2022 is when all the state houses, the statewide offices are voted on. So that's your chance to make your voice heard also. So if you know someone that can do a better job than the person in there right now, you can vote for them. But remember, some of us are Republicans. We should support Republicans and give them the benefit of the doubt. Make sure they're conservative Republicans and not rhinos. There are a lot of rhinos running around out there that I choose to be a Republican. You're either a Republican or you're not a Republican. If you think that you're a Republican, you may need to take a serious look on the inside, see where you really stand on the issues. Okay? If you're out there, you want to defund the police or restructure the police, you want to raise taxes, you don't want to treat people fairly, you want to allow loopholes in voting, you're not a Republican. Okay? If you're out there wanting to waste money to valuable taxpayer dollars, you're not a Republican. We're supposed to be fiscally responsible. Watch the taxpayers' purse. Be kind and conservative and fund the government and make it fair for people across the board. Some people out there, they just want to play the politics game and kowtow to the nearest thing, so try to get more votes. We should always do the right thing and actually perform the way we promised we would perform when we ran for office. That's why I'm a conservative. I'll always be conservative. You won't ever catch me voting for a Democrat. Okay? It's nonsense. So if you're a rhino, just resign. If you're a Republican, stand up for what you believe in. Make your voice heard. Make sure that people know you're Republican. If you're in a nonpartisan election and someone comes up to you and says, are you conservative or are you Republican? Admit it. You're being tested. And if they don't like it, they're going to vote. They're not going to vote for you anyway. But sometimes people, they're testing you to see if you're wanting to be honest with them. Just be honest and open. I'm a conservative Republican. My name is James Pierce, and I'm going to serve you. Okay? So I hope this was an informative podcast. Send me some of your comments. If I was wrong on some of this stuff, let me know. Remember, there's still 8 more days in the legislative session for this year. Anything can happen. Miracles happen. All right, this is James. I'll catch you on the flip side. This is James Pierce for the JP8 Report, episode 34. I'm out.